Thank you, computer voice, and welcome to the more interactive part of our launch today. So after you scan, if you can click the little hands, little, thumbs up in the bottom right corner, I'd really appreciate it. You can also click the little not QR code, URL I popped in the chat, and then we'll wait for 10. So then we can continue. Just a few more. I'll go on then. First question, where are you based? Where are you currently in this lovely geography we have? Are we already heard Chicago, Finland, London, Canterbury? I heard it's lovely at this time of year. Istanbul, Espoo, no idea how to pronounce it. Surrey, yeah, that's absolutely lovely. Can attest for that. Germany, Canterbury, Bremen, Wolverhampton, Tunbridge Wells, Munich, the key Tanzania. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm not sure even if I'm pronouncing that right. But the key thing is that it's a global program. So on all our events, we will always have networking, we'll always have connection, sharing LinkedIn's, because we have probably correct me if I'm wrong, but this year, Simon, we have 140 participants, about 70 mentors, 70 mentees. Am I correct?
Yeah, at least probably a bit more, maybe cracked 150 by now.
Brilliant. 151 because Stuart joined a week ago, so we need to update that. And so the key thing is that it's quite a large program. So, and a lot of our events are also open, so other people can join and connect with each other. So I'm pretty sure if you stay on this program and join our events over the next 9 months, your network should statistically significantly grow. Um, Perfect. West Indies, Finland, United States, Yorktown, beautiful, Virginia, lots of different geographies. But what's really key for us is what would you like to develop as part of the Emerging Occupational Psychologist program? So is there as Anuka mentioned, focusing on one thing per session? So what is this one thing you want to develop right now? It can change. We're not looking for retest of one. This can change tomorrow. This can change in an hour. But what we want to know is what's important for you right now. What would you like to develop? And that question is both for mentors and mentees. You can either type it in or feel free to unmute yourself. And in no particular order, hopefully I'm pronouncing the name right. Lokia? Am I pronouncing the name correctly?
Yeah, it's Lukia, but yeah, kind of.
It's okay. Highly agreeable answer, basically. You're wrong. My name sounds like this. So absolutely. So what would you like to take away from EOP?
So, I think mostly guidance on how to start and progress into my career in the field of organizational psychology. But yeah, just to how to use my skills more correctly or more appropriately and how to find what I like the most. And yeah, I want a lot of things, but mostly on how to progress into this career.
Excellent. And anything in particular you would like to progress in, like any particular area of occupational psychology you're really interested in?
So that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, because I didn't gain practical experience. So through the theoretical knowledge we gained to my master's, I don't know exactly what I like the most. I really liked all the parts of organizational psychology. So yeah, I want to figure out what I like the most.
Let me rephrase it. What you found least boring?
um, I think I really liked leadership and selection and assessment progress, program assessments and tests. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really liked when they come and talk to us about consultancy and how to identify clients' needs and how to solve the problems because it has variety on it. So yeah, I don't like to stay on a routine. I really like variety.
That's brilliant. And considering that, Anuka, you have 17 years of experience in consultancy. What comes to your mind when you hear Lukia? Hopefully pronouncing it correctly this time. Yes.
definitely a career path worthwhile investigating if you're curious about variety. So no day is a different. Clients come from different industries, different size of the different sizes of organizations and positions. So definitely taps into that kind of driver. But do you remember, all psychologists, organizational psychologists, quite often in consultancy, you need to be comfortable in selling also your services. And that seems to be quite often the obstacle that you need to overcome, that we do need to sell our services in order to do all the fun things that we like to do, assess and develop and so forth.
Absolutely. And first step is to make the client feel listened to. And because all their needs are different, doesn't matter how similar you think they are. And this what makes this job really fun. What I would also suggest is, where are you based, Lukia?
I'm in Manchester.
Excellent. Make a list of 5-10 consultancies you want to go into. And the same goes for all of you on this call. Think of an industry you want to go into. It doesn't mean you have to go into it. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Just what you're interested going into. Could be consultancy, could be recruitment, could be psychometrics, could be well-being, you name it. And find 3 consultancies that do that. Then find occupational psychologists who work in those consultancies and send them connection requests. But before that, what you do, you update your LinkedIn signature. So scrap that aspirational psychologist, because there's so aspiring psychologists, because there's so many of them, and write down fascinated by well-being, or want to go in the career of consultancy, MSc in occupational psychology, or industrial, organizational, or business. And then, a little fun fact about yourself, like sci-fi novels, or support Manchester United, God forbid. And but the key thing is that where do you want to go into, your background, such an MSc in Occ Psych, and what you like to do, personal. And the point of this is, when you get a connection request and it's very clear to what you do, you immediately accept. The actual message doesn't make a difference if the handle is correct. But if you have somebody like aspiring psychologist, or people put down student, it's not necessarily very clear what you do. So make up a little handle, because the key thing is that you might be looking at the market and you're thinking, oh my God, there's 1,000 occupational psychology graduates and like 10 jobs. So how can I stand out? The irony is, it takes very little to stand out as an Occ Psych, as a student. So just update your LinkedIn, make sure it's clear, representative of who you are, engage with posts. All of this can make you stand out. But first thing is your handle, and also your picture, because most people will be looking at your connection request on their little phony phones. So the key thing here is, they won't see your face if you have a picture that you standing with a big background. So just think that people will see your picture like 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters max. So they will picture of your face, basically. That's what I'm getting to. So people can put a face to a name, literally. And just even that can be quite beneficial. So after you connected to Occ Psychs in that particular 3 companies, make a list of 3 more, and a list of 3 more, and just connect. And the key thing here is that if you apply to a company, find 5 occupational psychologists at that company and connect with them. Because the key thing is, when you're applying for jobs and they ghost you, you're like, oh my God, you're not feeling any progress from this. But if you connect with just 5 people from that company for each company you apply in, people say, apply to 100 companies. Well, imagine if you sent 5 requests to each one of those companies, and one of those people, or 2 people out of each 5 accepted. You'd be up 200, 300 connections that you can chat to about working in that organization. So it's little things like that that can help, so it doesn't feel all kind of fruitless and useless. So with consultancies, I highly recommend graduate schemes, Big Four. So Deloitte, EY, PwC, KPMG, they run occupational psychology consultancies. There's also really cool roles at like Lloyd's TSP has a brilliant graduate scheme in UK, probably the highest paid one. So it's 42K plus bonus and benefits, and it's not in London. So, which is brilliant. And also PCL. Simon, can you tell us about the PCL graduate scheme and consultancy, psychometric, and leadership development?
Yeah, I mean, we typically have a graduate recruitment drive every year. and I'm not sure what the plans are for when we're going to do the next one. But definitely follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll receive that. And obviously, Nikita very helpfully tags all these posts with Psych Talent, which is the kind of the gold standard to keep in touch with what's going on. So I'd highly recommend that as well.
Excellent, because it's just making progress. And please don't select yourself out. If a job looks good enough to apply, or please apply. You don't need to spend thinking how you're going to work there for the rest of your life. So the key thing here is that so many people select themselves out. But if you want more advice on how to look for a job, Cheryl received. Okay, Cheryl, don't worry, we'll connect you with a mentor soon. So bear with us. And if you would like more advice on selection, recruitment, and working in different fields and how to stand out as an applicant, please join our YouTube channel, because this video will be going up there as well. So if you click and follow, we have about 49 videos there of different workshops. This one is on making yourself looking for jobs. But here, what's one of my favorites is the following. It's we were very lucky to have quite a few ads, man. Very lucky to have lots of different occupational psychologists sharing their how to stand out as an applicant. That's a key video to watch. So we had big recruiters, Aon, we had Ben from Stand 10, SME, small medium business. We had people from UK government telling about all the different graduate schemes in UK. And most importantly is those people select graduate occupational psychologists. So they were saying how you can stand out as an applicant in your CV, in your cover letter. And like, if there's one video you watch, this is it. And we also have probably dozens and dozens of interviews of what occupational psychologists do. So people with a degree doing different things, and pretty much everybody on those videos is happy to connect. And especially if you're a second career, as I can see from some of you people saying, I want to go back into consultancy world. We have 4 webinars from which we've done during COVID about all about as occupational psychology as a second career.
Reset after a busy.
So many ads. And this is it. So this is one of them. So we had probably 11 speakers across 4 webinars from different careers who transitioned into occupational psychology. And they share their experience and how they did that. And most of the speakers are happy to connect. And Simon was very kind to put down the speaker's name in the About Me section, in about the video section on YouTube. So if you'd like the YouTube video, you want to connect with people, just connect. Say, I really like this video you did for psychology@work.blog. I'd love to connect. So that's another about 50 people you can connect to in the field who are our speakers. And if you, for example, go get a job at SHL, you apply, or you apply at Saville Assessments. We have an interview of Peter Saville, who founded both companies, co-founded, talking about his life and career. Can get you lots of little anecdotes that you can drop in an interview that potentially even your interviewer won't know. So it's a channel, so subscribe to it. We add new videos to it regularly. So just going back to what wonderful people wrote on your Mentimeters. So my skills on the whole, how to further my career with skills I have already and how to implement and design projects, especially ED&I. Absolutely, if you like ED&I space, following company Pern and Condola, I would highly recommend. They also have graduate schemes. Transferable skills to the industry, they are plenty of transferable skills you all have. And be it consulting, as Anuka mentioned, selling, all of this is useful. Leadership development, check out the YSC graduate scheme. It's been acquired by Accenture recently, so I'm not sure how long it will stay around as YSC, but absolutely, if leadership development your thing, places like YSC are really good. Transparency around salaries within occupational psychology, okay, that is a very painful question to us, especially when we compare ourselves to our American colleagues. So American colleagues on average earn 3 to 5 times more than occupational psychologists in UK. So if you want to get yourself a good salary, I'd recommend getting a PhD in Occ Psych and moving to US. So that's first and foremost. Average salaries here would be around 60 to 80K. that would be nice to do a salary survey. In US, it's about 250K, just for comparison. And average salaries for graduates, I would say 30 to 45. So that would be an average graduate job. Consultant role, 40 to 60. Senior consultant, like 60 to 80. Principal consultant, management consultant, 90 to 120. And the highest roles, which I saw for like managing consultant, etc., would be like 150. But this is just anecdotal from my experience of posting psych talent roles. But we are currently in talks with Association for Business Psychology to possibly do a salary review, because this is what PsyOp in US does regularly. So hopefully we'll have more information as we go along. But as a graduate, I would not, unless the job is really, really good and you can afford it, I think under 30K is taking the mickey, to put it politely, with employers offering this. But, you know, if you can afford doing this for 2 years, especially outside of London, I would still take it, but nothing under 25. Hopefully that answers that question about salaries. But yeah, by the way, if you ever work in designing of job descriptions, please put down the salary. Don't leave it highly competitive, because if it's highly competitive, why didn't you bloody mention it? So that's just a little request. Helping practical experience about consulting. We'll do a session on this, absolutely. How to introduce yourself, my skills and capabilities. Yep, that's covered in the video of searching for your first role, or what the market is, potential candidates, how can I start my own practice around leadership development, employee well-being. Starting your own practice is a bit hard when it's from scratch. If you're transitioning from a different field, let's say you worked in HR or L&D for decades and you have a network and then you want to offer that consultancy services, that's a bit easier. But if you're a graduate who wants to start their own consultancy, it's a little bit more difficult. So I would suggest you can behave like you want to start a consultancy in the future. So what benefits you? So getting experience working at consultancies, making sure that every person you meet, you add them to LinkedIn, because they will take your email when you quit a job, but they can't take your LinkedIn. So you can keep all the connections, hopefully, and build this up, and your skills and expertise and knowledge. Or, for example, as Richard's doing, as previously mentioned, he works in a hosting space, and make sure to do you add those people you meet to LinkedIn, Richard?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the reason I got the job.
So you got a job in. Can you tell us a little bit more what you do? You don't need to mention your employer if you don't feel comfortable, but you host events, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to mention the employer. The employer is Wallace Space. They wouldn't mind me mentioning that. I basically do event management, which isn't necessarily an Occ Psych job, but we have a lot of Occ Psychs that come to Wallace Space because it's a venue that's built for facilitators. So a lot of facilitators and consultants often run their workshops in hotel rooms where the tech doesn't work or the room's gloomy or whatever, whereas Wallace Space is built with a lot of natural light, and it's perfect for facilitators, and it's designed by facilitators for facilitators. So the aim of me getting this job was to meet loads of consultants and coaches, leadership coaches, executive coaches, and help them with the logistics of the events and try and understand what they do in their workshops and connect with them as many as possible and sort of grow my network organically for a year or two and then step into consultancy or something after.
Exactly. So make the job you have right now work for you. And you have the transferable skills of hosting, facilitating, experience, all of that. So you don't need to get a direct job. So Richard, that's a beautiful example of how having a host job can work for you. So if people think, oh man, recruitment is not really Occ Psych, or HR not really Occ Psych. Look, if you have a job offer, doing something for 1 or 2 years can be quite beneficial. And the question is how you can make it work for you, either building up your network or getting professional qualifications, or just make it work, make it transferable. It doesn't need to have Occ Psych in the title, and that in itself would make you stand out. Perfect. So now, talking about stand out, if Ezra, are you still there? Excellent.
Yes,
If you can
I'm
share
here.
with us some of the kind of guidance you have kindly produced for this mentoring program.
Well, maybe I can share my screen, or if the guides are already
you can share your screen, that would be fantastic.
Okay, let me just find which screen is that, because I have many open tabs as an HR professional. Well,
Yeah.
I will. I'm sorry. I will talk about mentors and mentees guides, if that's okay, guys, because we are mixed group of people, and there are some other people who are probably peer mentors.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go. Can you see my screen right now?
Yeah, it's highlighted in orange.
Yes, some parts of it already are in orange. Yeah. Well, firstly, before preparing this guide, I took some notes from my previous sessions regarding career coaching, mentoring, coaching, positive psychological counseling, and solution-focused brief therapy training notes, everything, and also some personality inventories. And for me, the most outstanding part is to create the difference between mentors and coaches, because this is a topic of discussion. When you say mentor, people can understand coach, and vice versa. So maybe, first we can create this difference between coaching and mentoring. For me, by the way, I will highlight some important points. I will not go through the guide in that, but in my opinion and in practice, being a coach means that you are not directive, but you are there to ask some Socratic questioning and to dive into what's being told by the coachee. And generally, you focus on one theme and you deep dive into that theme. That can be more possibly about a soft skill development. But for mentors, this is a kind of a different scenario. Okay, is there a question, or I can continue? As I understand, I can continue right now. For mentors, it's a different scenario. As mentors, we are like teachers, because being mentor means that you kind of you can be a teacher for someone, and you can be a mentor for that person, or as a parent, you can be a mentor for your child. So we are acting like mentors, natural mentors in our day-to-day life already. So being a mentor means that being an old person in that specific field, and you direct that person with your expertise. So it's more directive. Being a mentor is more directive. Of course, there are some commonalities between coaching and mentoring. For example, a mentee can ask you about leading a team. So you can both integrate your technical skills and your soft skills, plus your experience, what you have gone through in similar scenarios. So you can reflect upon your mentee's question in that way. So we can integrate both, but we know that as mentors, we are there to direct the mentee to transfer our skills, technical skills mostly, but we are not authoritative, of course. So this is one of the points that I would like to mention. And the other thing is about the general flow. Sometimes, I have been a mentor for 6 or 7 times until now. And one of the pitfalls I have experienced was that, there's a mentee who is very full of life, who has her or his experience and theoretical background, but doesn't know where to go. So and quite undecisive. So you are the one who will be reflecting upon it, who will be ice breaking, who will be opening some discussions from ground zero. And at that specific point, I want to note that you are the one who can open yourself first, because relations and communications are reciprocative. So reciprocal, and you are better to first mention about yourself, your background, your career, your challenges maybe, then it can trigger your mentee to talk about a specific point. So this is one of the things that I want to also bring today. And the other thing is that you are better to reinforce what is done well until then, because sometimes people are a bit hopeless about what's going on. I mean, in times of uncertainty, especially, we need a hand or we need a guide to say us that, okay, everything will change, everything will be working for the better. So at that time, you are better to do that as a mentor. It really works. It really works for oneself as well. And it's really nice to integrate some positive psychology techniques. I noted down here about the questions of solution-focused brief therapy. So it's better to direct the focus on the positive things, what's going on well, and to reinforce that positivity in order to compensate what's negative, in order to take the energy out of mentee. By the way, as I said, psychology. I know that we have many people here coming from psychological background or who are already psychologists. But it is also important to make this distinction between psychologist, being a psychologist, or being a mentor. Even though your occupation can be psychology in psychological field, we are not here to guide our mentees through their life challenges. So we are not psychologists in that sense, but we are better to help them, to guide them, to make them reflect upon their options. And we have to stop there. So we have to know our boundaries well in that point. Here we can use GROW model, which is mostly used in coaching as well. So we can talk about the mentees' goals and their reality and their options and the way forward, which is very important as well in terms of setting goals. Because generally what's going on in these kinds of discussions is that you talk about, you reflect upon a point, upon a theme, you talk about a certain theme or a couple of topics, but then without setting clear goals, that can fade away. So we are here to also track what's going on by the mentee side, and to somehow motivate them to take actions. Of course, we are not teachers in that sense, so it's not kind of a boring homework thing, but still we are here to motivate our mentees to go to the results. So we are better to set some smart goals in our discussions as well. What else? Are there any questions until now? Is everything clear? Okay. And also, I mean, in our previous cohort, we took recommendations about peer mentoring because there were some matches with equal experiences or educational background. So we thought that it will be also very reasonable to match people with similar backgrounds but still mentoring each other. In that sense, I mean, peer mentoring is a different thing. It's a unique thing, but knowing how to mentor a mentee, we can change roles and we can share our experiences in that sense. So I also took note here in that guide. There is a example of a first session guide. Here also, it's very important to know yourself. So I'm just skipping through the end of this guide, which is about self-discovery, to be honest, which is also very important for mentees. I will come to the mentee guide in a sec. But before proceeding to the guide, the mentee guide, I also want to note that as mentors, we have to reflect upon our own personality, and we have to, we are better to get to know about personality issue starting from ourselves, and then so that we can help our mentees. And there are some free resources. Nikita, you are the professor of personality tests, but these are some examples of the free tests that helps self-discovery. And I also integrated some positive psychology approach, as I mentioned, from solution-focused brief therapy questions. These are from my previous trainings. So yeah, this is all for the mentor's guide. Guys, is everyone okay? I mean, is everything clear? It's quite late here. It's 10 o'clock here. So I don't know what I have told about the mentor's guide, but hopefully this was helpful for you. I will also mention about mentee's guide. If you don't have any questions, I can continue with that. Okay. So yeah, here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. For mentees, I mean, this is not too long, but it's very important. I mean, in my own experience, again, what I see from the mentee side is that, by the way, I have been mentee several times as well. And the most guiding thing for me during my sessions is that I'm better to prepare the session beforehand. So because it triggers you in the sense that you have to think about what's going on in your life and what's the most important thing to talk about in that specific 1 hour. So being ready, being prepared means a lot. I mean, it creates a really sound effect after your 1 hour with your mentor. So it's really important to be proactive. Sometimes there can be some not miscommunications, but I mean not enough communication between mentor and mentees. It can stem from both sides, but still you are better to keep the connection. Somehow the pace depends on the schedules of both mentors and mentees. But still, I recommend mentees to chase their mentors and to adapt their schedule to their program, and being proactive in terms of bringing your life issues to your mentors. So keep your connection, keep updating your mentor. It really helps. And it really helps building a rapport or connection with your mentor as well as a person. And also drawing the boundaries again means a lot, and it helps both sides to be productive. So as mentees, we should not expect our mentors to find our job. I mean, if they can find, of course, very nice. But they are there to help to guide us with their own life experiences and also academic skills. So we should not expect a psychological approach. We should not expect a parenting in a way from our mentors. But still, we should expect some help. And for that, we are the ones to create and to keep the connection. Of course, this is also reciprocal, but we are the ones to keep the connection active. And also asking questions, clarifying expectations is very important. You can also deep dive what you are talking about with your mentor, because you are better there to take their life lessons. So it's really nice for you as well to ask some questions, for some deeper reflection. You can be curious about your mentor's experiences as well. So you are also the one who will break the ice, who will deep dive into the topic, and we'll keep the connection with it. There's an exemplary again per session guide here. I'm just skipping through it. And also, it's very important to have a self-reflection about yourself. I will mention about that for you as well, about this personality tests. I mean, they are not everything, but they really help you to explore your hidden areas, I would say, and also your development areas, which you can reflect upon your discussions as well. And please do not forget that, I mean, of course, this is a very, very valuable program. We all know about it, and we are thankful for that. But still, you are full of resources, which means that you are full of mentors in your surroundings. You have your friends, you have your older friends, you have your family members, you have your teachers, trainers, so on and so forth, and other industry professionals that you can follow. So please be proactive in that sense as well. You can find other mentors, informal mentors in your life, and you can increase your chance of being more successful in your life. And yeah, that's all I can share.
That's absolutely brilliant, Esra. Would anybody like to join in and share their reflections on the mentoring and mentorship suggestions? Just feel free to unmute and jump in. Oh, Anuka, very welcome. And from my side, I would just like to add, also have fun. Because do stuff that's good for you. So be it exercise, reading books, etc. Because sometimes looking for a job can become all-consuming. So nobody canceled Maslow hierarchy of needs, so make sure to take care of yourselves as well. But yeah, any other questions at this point? Reflections? Thoughts? Well, in that case, I will just quickly pause the recording. Excellent. So, on this note, would anybody like to unmute themselves? Oh, Ande, over to you.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I was waiting to see what the right time would be to ask this question. So I joined the session because I had it in my calendar since you initially posted it on LinkedIn. But I haven't been added to any group, or I haven't been assigned to any mentor. So I was wondering if it would still be possible to get assigned someone, or should I wait?
Absolutely.
until the next one?
We still have some space for mentors, etc. So just contact me separately and write down what you want to develop and what sort of mentor you want, and then we can make it work.
Yeah, amazing. I think on that note, I overheard Stuart earlier mentioning he specializes in leadership development, and he's still looking for a mentee. So it would be amazing if he still has someone.
Super, excellent. So that was easy. So
Amazing, thank you.
Excellent. So yeah, but thank you so much for your proactivity, and that's the key at the end of the day, to be a bit more proactive. But would be great if just one or two of you can unmute yourself and share your takeaways from today, and then I will tell you what's next. So what sort of events are coming up? No particular order. Bao.
I tend to be preoccupied with finding participants, but I think it's fantastic. I'm open to the experience. As you know, I attend everything and I listen. It's just a fantastic opportunity. It's great meeting other people as well and talking about what our insecurities are, also what we're finding positive about things. I would say for everybody, just continue to attend and listen and be open.
Excellent, absolutely. And it is painful to recruit for participants, but there's a lot of Occ Psychs working in HS trusts. So I would just basically cold contact them if I was you, that you're doing the study.
Unfortunately, that's a big no-no for my ethics form.
Oh my goodness. Yes, limitations. Well, ethics are important, but I wish you good luck getting that sample and maybe Richard can help. But yes, so any questions before we close? Any reflections?
I just want to say thanks you for all your support. For me, I'm just changing my career to come into the new occupational psychology, business psychology in UK, and I've got a mentor who is working in the consultant company. So I'm really looking forward for this, and I think she will help me a lot with my transferable skills and stuff to the industry. And I look forward for other sessions as well. I'm going to join the Hogan assessment sessions as well. So thank you for that, especially to Nikita, because I'm from Kingston. I spoke to you on the Lumina profile, and it was really helpful as well.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much, Cho. That's very lovely. Am I pronouncing the name correctly, Cho?
Yes, Cho, yes.
Excellent. Yes. So the key thing is that attend events. We're running public events. We're running all sorts of events. So at this point, I need to pause the record. Well, basically, I'll stop the recording because the events are not going to be relevant when some people might watch this recording. So thank you, everyone, for being on the recording. It will be on our YouTube channel shortly, in a week or two, maybe less, maybe a few days. We'll see. So let me just stop the recording. Great.